Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Judicial Service. Today we are discussing here the Indian Contract Act 1872. This video is the 15th part of top 300 MCQ of Indian Contract Act video series. And if you have not watched the previous video, all the link of previous videos are available in our description box. And those who want the PDF file of this video series, the PDF file will be available in our Telegram group and WhatsApp group. And the link of Telegram and WhatsApp group is also available in our description box. You may join these groups through the link. And before starting this video, I request you please like our videos, and if you are not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it. Let's come to the point here. Question number 205. The bailment involved. So bailment is provided in Indian Contract Act under section 148, and its complete provision is till the 148 to 181. In these sections, the different provision of the bailment and place provided in Contract Act. So before completing this question, first of all we discuss what is bailment. So according to section 148, the bailment is here. So bailment is a transaction. So first of all, bailment is a transaction whereby one person deliver, this is very important here, one person deliver goods to another person for some purpose, and upon a contract that they are, when the purpose is accomplished, to be returned or otherwise disposed of. So when the purpose is accomplished, to be returned or otherwise disposed of according to the direction of a person delivering. So this thing is called bailment. According to which section? According to section 148. Let's take an example of the bailment. So hiring of goods is the best example of the bailment. Delivering of clothes to the tailor for stitching, this is the another example of the bailment. And delivering of a car or scooters for repair. So these are the examples of bailment. So the basic term of the bailment is a transaction whereby one person delivering goods to another person for a specific purpose, and upon the contract they are, when the purpose is accomplished, to be returned, this is very important, or otherwise disposed of according to the direction of the person delivering them. So this is called the bailment. Now we discuss who is bailer and bailee. So first here, the person who deliver goods. So the person who deliver the goods is called bailer. So a person who deliver the goods is called bailer, and the person whom they are delivered is called bailee, and the transaction is called bailment. So these things are there according to section 148. Now there are some another. The bailment is generally in two types. First one is here gratuitous bailment, and second one here the bailment for reward. So first of all we discuss here gratuitous bailment. So the bailment which neither the bailer nor the bailee is entitled to any remuneration is called gratuitous bailment. So in this bailment there is no one get neither bailer or nor bailee is entitled to any remuneration. So this is called the gratuitous bailment. Example here, the lending a book to friend. So here a lending a book to friend, there is no rent of taken by the person who lend this, and so this thing here, and who gave these things. So these are called the best example of the gratuitous bailment. Now another example here, the bailment for reward. The bailment in which either the bailer or the bailee is entitled the remuneration is called non-gratuitous bailment, means bailment for reward, like motor car let out for hire. So in this case a person who hire a car is liable to pay sum. So now come back to our question. So question is here, the bailment involves, so option A change of custody, option B change of possession, option C change of custody and possession both, and option D neither change of custody nor possession. So in delivery, in the definition of the bailment, there is a necessary word, the delivery of possession. So in the term custody and possession, they are the completely different terms. That in the term of the custody means a one who has custody without possession. So let's take an example like a servant or a guest who using his host goods is not a bailee, because there is no possession on the goods. They only get the custody, because they are the owner of the goods is not deliver these goods as a possessor. So this thing is here. So according to this question, answer is here option B, change of possession. So answer here option B. Now next question. Question number 206. The bailment means the goods is delivered by one person. So goods is delivered by one person to another for some purpose to be specifically returned or otherwise disposed of as per the order of bailer. So this statement is absolutely correct statement of the bailment according to section 148, and we just discussed this definition. So answer of this question is option A. Now the remaining options here, the goods delivered to return by the way of an equivalent money. So this is not a appropriate definition, and the goods delivered to be returned by the way of equivalent in the other commodities, this is also not correct definition. So these are the terms is not appropriate. So answer here option A. Now question number 207. The bailee is a person. So option A, who deliver the goods. Option B, whom the goods are delivered. Option C, through whom the goods are delivered. Option D, any one of above depending on the circumstance. So answer is here option B. The bailee is a person whom the goods are delivered. Now question number 208. The bailer is a person. So bailer is a person who deliver the goods. Option B, to whom the goods are delivered. Option C, through whom the goods are delivered. Option D, whose carry the goods. So answer is here option who deliver the goods. So bailer is a person who deliver the goods. Answer here option A. Question number 209. The bailee is bound to take care of goods. Option. So the responsibility of bailee is provided in section 151 to 152. These two sections provide the liability of the bailee, and section, especially section 151 is provided that the care to be taken by the bailee. So as a ordinary prudence person. So this is provided in section 151. Now option A, as an expert. Option B, as a layman. Option C, as a man of prudence, ordinary prudence. So as a man of ordinary prudence. And option D, both B and C. So according to the question, bailee is bound to take care of goods as man of ordinary prudence. So answer of this question is option C. According to which section? Must remember this section, section 151. Now question number 210. The liability of bailee as regard the goods is equivalent to that of option A, of a common carrier. Option B, as a innkeeper. Option C, both of common carrier and innkeeper. And option D, neither of common carrier nor innkeeper. So the liability of bailee as regard the goods is equivalent to that of the common carrier. So answer is here option A. And it is not getting the liability as of the bailee as equivalent to the innkeeper, because the innkeeper is the owner of the particular place on the areas like hotels and this thing. So if the bailee is not getting like the same rights, that's why he is not getting the equivalent power of the innkeeper. So answer of this question is option A. Now question number 211. An agreement by a bailee purported to exempt him wholly from liability for negligence is. So according to this question, an agreement by bailee purported to exempt him wholly from liability for negligence is. Option A, valid. Option B, invalid. Option C, voidable. And option D, void. So answer of this question is option A, valid. Question number 212. If the bailee does any act inconsistent with the condition of bailment with regard to goods. So this question is related to section 153. Section 153 dealing with the termination of bailment by bailee's act inconsistent with condition. So the contract of bailment is voidable at the option of the bailer, and if the bailee does any act with regard to the goods bailed inconsistent with the condition of bailment, so it is clear here, it is the contract is voidable at the option of bailer. So now option A here, the contract become void. So this is not correct here. According to section 153, the contract become voidable at the option of bailee. So this option is also wrong here, because at the option of bailer, not bailee. So this is wrong here. And option C, the contract become voidable at the option of bailer. So this statement is correct here according to section 153, and option D, the contract remain valid. So this is also wrong here. So answer of this question is option C. Now question number 213. So if the bailee mix the goods of the bailor with his own goods without the consent of bailor, so this question is related to section 156. Section 156 dealing with the effect of mixture without the bailor consent when the goods can be separated. So in that case, the bailee is bound to bear the expenses of separation or divide and any damage arising from the mixture, because the bailee is responsible for the mixturing of these goods to the bailor's goods and own goods of the bailees. So now the bailee is bound for the expenses of for the payment of the expenses of separation of these goods. So according to section 156, so option A here, bailee is liable to bear the expenses of the separation of goods and damage arising therefrom if the goods can be separated or divided. So this option is appropriate here. Now option B, the bailee is liable to compensate the bailor for the loss of goods and if the goods are irresponsible. Option C, both A and B, and option D, neither A nor B. So it is clear here, answer of this question is option A. According to which section? According to section 156. So in this case, in this section, there are the bailee who mix the goods of the bailors in his own goods, and these goods are separated and divided through the practice, and there are some expense, if there is any expenses, so such expenses is paid by the bailee, and if any damage arising from this mixture, so such damage is also paid by the bailee. So this thing is provided in section 156. So answer of this question is option A. Question number 214. So in case of gratuitous bailment, the bailee is, so this question is related to section 158. So 158 dealing with the repayment by the bailor of necessary expenses. So in this case, where the bailee to receive no remuneration, the bailor shall pay to the bailee for necessary expenses incurred by him for the purpose of the bailment. So this thing is provided in section 158. So option A here, entitled to necessary expenses incurred by him for the purpose of bailment. Option B here, not entitled to any expenses. Option C, entitled to necessary expenses and additional expenses, additional charges, not expenses, charges. And option D, either B or C. So it is clear here, option A. So in this case, the gratuitous bailment, the bailee is entitled to necessary expenses incurred by him for the purpose of bailment. According to which section? According to section 158. So answer of this question is option A. If anybody having a doubt of this question, please comment in comment box. I will try to explain further. Now question number 215. After the expiry of time and accomplishment of the purpose of bailment. So this question is related to section 160. Section 160 dealing with the return of goods bailed or expiration of time or accomplishment of purpose. So this thing is provided in section 160. So in this section, the basic concept is there. If there is the duty of the bailee to return or deliver according to the bailor's direction, and the goods failed without demand as soon as the time for which they were bailed has expired, or the purpose for which they were bailed has been accomplished. So this thing is provided in section 160. So option A here, bailee is to return the goods without demand. Option B, the bailee is return the goods only on demand. Option C, the bailee is to pay the money equivalent. Option D, the bailee is to the equivalent in other commodity. So answer of this question is clearly the bailee is to return the goods without demand after the expiry of time and accomplishment of purpose of bailment. The bailee is to return the goods without demand. So answer of this question is option A. Now finish this video, and if you like this video, please click on like button. If you are not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it, and please press the bell icon button which will provide you further notification of our videos. Thank you for watching Indian Judicial Service.